All right, how's it going, guys? My name's Uncle Bob, and we are here. This is the first time I'm using my name with that name with the face here. Usually, I was going by a name that I basically use for everything. Everything when I play video games and stuff, my name is always Jackal. It always is. It still is, and it's still going to be. So if you play any of the, or if you watch any of my Let's Plays, there's a good chance the certain characters you will see will have the name Jackal because I'll still use that. But you know what? We decided to go with Uncle Bob for a little while. We'll see if I decide to change it one day, but at least for now, that's what we're going with. And we are here to celebrate 1 year since I decided to start One Piece. And I'm sorry for playing with my hair. I'm going to be doing that a lot. I'm usually not talking without any sort of script for this long, at least not to the camera. Usually I just do it while I'm playing video games. So this is a little weird for me right now. So gonna be a little nervous here. But yeah, no, we're here to celebrate. Today is October 30th. Now, my very first watch along One Piece episode was episode. Well, when I did episode one, it was on October 31st. So tomorrow is October 31st. Obviously, every year, the day that, Halloween was on a Monday last year, now it's on a Tuesday this year. So to kind of celebrate normally I would be watching One Piece on a Monday, and now we're going to be doing it Tuesday, Fridays instead to keep up with the first episode I watch in the cycle being on Halloween being on October 31st. But, to kind of celebrate the day that I decided to watch One Piece, I just wanted to kind of go over what my thoughts are on it. And I've said this in a lot of my other videos where I talk about it. And as a former hater of the franchise, which was mainly not really a hater of the franchise in that way, it was mainly that I, especially when I was 13, when I was like 13, I mean, that's 20 years ago now. But when I had friends showing me One Piece back in the day, I remember looking at the manga because I had a friend in the old summer camp I used to go to. His name was Ryan. We'll just go with that. He was actually one of my very first friends when I was a kid that like wasn't in school, but like an outside friend that I made. And I remember him showing me the One Piece manga. And I remember when I was like 13, bro, I hated it. I thought it looked so bad. I did not like it. I didn't like the way the characters looked. I didn't like the goofy art style. But now that I'm older, and this is not just the same in anime or manga, it's much more of a, it's much more all encompassing now. I'm much better at kind of putting aside different aspects of different art pieces that I didn't like in order to kind of flesh out the things that I might like. And at least with One Piece so far, what I really am enjoying is the world. The art, sometimes it's funny, like meeting what is it, number two. He's hilarious, and his design is funny, but it borders on, like, when I look at number two from Baroque Works. I don't Have we heard his name? I don't remember. Um, when when I look at his character, if I would have seen that when I was 13, I would not have cared. I would just lose interest. And when I was younger, it was just that everything's got to be like tough. The strict male power fantasy, especially when I'm like 13, growing up. That's 2003, 2004. Heading into middle school, it is what it is. But there, the artwork still kind of gets me sometimes. I'm not always a fan of it or the way it looks. Um, I don't want to say the show's not funny, but also the show isn't quite as funny as I thought it was going to be. On like, overall, it's funny. Like, it has a lot of funny moments in each episode, but it seems like the funny moments a lot of times are much more spread out than I thought it was going to be. And I guess that is because, there are certain episodes that get to be taken a little bit more seriously, but also, I don't want to say the humor doesn't hit me so much, but I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm getting used to the way that all the characters are interacting. I don't know. Um I've seen plenty of clips over the years that I know are funny, like funny shits. So I'm hoping that it's something that as the series progresses, the things that I might find funny, or the way in which I find the things that they're doing now funny, maybe I'll find it funnier later on. So I'm hoping that'll be the case. Um, but it's not that it's not funny, but I feel like I'm still warming up to certain parts of it. There are certain moments, especially like the common slapstick stuff where, like, when they were wandering the desert and Luffy like stretches out his arms to like get cover, to get shade, and he takes Zoro and Chopper like belt, like just flying with them, and Zoro screaming and shit. That like real common slapstick stuff I love, and that's pretty much funny all the time. So, stuff like that I love, but I don't know. I'm hoping that, especially maybe as they get more crewmates, maybe I'll start all the interactions I'll find a little bit funnier. So it's not that it's not funny. I don't want to accuse it of being not funny, but it's not quite as funny as I was, I guess, hoping it would be. But I guess, I also have to like come in, especially not having liked the series before, maybe I should be less how do I put it? Maybe not have less expectations, because that sounds negative. Less preconceptions, I guess, is what we'll do. But yeah, after 104 episodes, I gotta say, uh, Dragon Ball and Naruto, both way better at this point. Now I know, if we're looking at franchises, I know, Shippuden kind of became a mess, and Boruto is what it is. And I know that if you're looking at the long game, One Piece is going to look and age much better as it goes across as a series. I know that's kind of how it works. But if I'm just looking at, let me look. Because I watch filler and all. I don't, I'm an anime watcher. I'm not a manga reader. I just, having kids, jobs, reading is just not something I can really like focus on doing. I should be able to, but I'm not. But let's look at, just for anime, Naruto episode 104. What was going on here? So this was a filler episode where Naruto was helping like some kid win some race. But I believe this was like a tiny little mini filler arc that was after the whole the sand and sound infiltration into the Leaf Village. So the whole thing where the third Hokage dies. So up to 104 episodes, we got everything in the original Naruto up until when the old man loses his life. That's a lot of really good and really fun shit. I mean, that's, the entirety of the Chunin exams and the Forest of Death. Naruto's fight with Neji. That's a lot of stuff. And obviously his big fight with Gaara. Now, I guess if you look at it, that's probably the only like super one arc that happens from like the beginning to that point. I mean, there's like mini arcs, but that seems like the real first big. But I don't know. In that, it feels, because One Piece is much more of like an adventure feeling show. So there's just a lot less that happens. And the things that have happened so far this early in the story don't feel that important. And I know with how grand the One Piece world gets, I know, and the way that a lot of things get brought into the future of the show, I know a lot of those things are going to carry more weight as things go forwards. But if I'm just looking at, from episode 1 to 104, Naruto to me already was way more interesting and way more enjoyable. But that's not really what One Piece does. It's not, it's not a battle anime in the traditional sense. So, sorry for that pause. And then we look at Dragon Ball. I don't know why I put my phone away, because I wanted to look up that exact thing as well. Dragon Ball episode 104. That's then this is right after Goku fought Tien and lost, and this looks like it's Goku hunting for Tambourine after Tambourine kills Krillin. So the first of many Krillin deaths. Um, One he took in Dragon Ball, which was like actually pretty brutal because he was like actually small and a child. So hold on, I'm gonna rub my eye real quick. Contact feels like it's moving. Okay, good. Just gotta stop that. But yeah, so up until that point, and because the original Dragon Ball does have a little bit of adventure going on with it, but with a lot more punches and fighting, like actual punches and fighting. 104 episodes in, it just feels like it's doing a lot more. Now, again, I know that One Piece will have a different effect as it progresses into the, 4, 5, 6, 700 episodes, when we start getting to that point, because then it really is just floating a very consistent narrative for that long, which will make it a lot stronger of a story at that point. But overall, though, I must say, as a former hater overall, I am actually enjoying the show quite a lot. And I mean, I'm 104 episodes in. Tomorrow I'm going to watch 105. So, like, I'm officially invested into the show. And I definitely, I know there's a lot of emotional and impactful moments that are in the story. I know I haven't gotten to a whole lot of them just yet, but the couple that we've gotten, I've really enjoyed. Sanji leaving the Baratier didn't make me cry, but like I could feel the ball right there. Like I feel had they extended that scene a little more, I probably would have lost it. Nami asking Luffy for help, that one made me cry. That one actually like tears down that I had to wipe off my face. That one most definitely got to me. And I would say the other two that got to me were probably both related to Chopper. Not one of them was not the one of them was not the doctor, the crazy doctor, his speech, which was always one that, from the fans, I had always read, it was one of the, a speech that made them all emotional and it made them tear up. And it was a good speech where he was talking about, how, a person doesn't die with their death. They die when their dreams fade away. And I know that was a good speech, but maybe it's because I heard too much about it from people that it just didn't hit me. It just didn't rock me the way that I wanted it to. I will say, though, that what did get me with that speech was right after the speech. And that was Chopper going up to, I can't even remember the female doctor's name. I know the other ones was Hiruruk and Dr. Reen, I think was her name. I forget what else they called her, but the witch lady, the one that Goku did, Goku's voice actress did the voice acting for. Kureha, that was it. Kureha, Dr. Kureha. Her on the other hand, the part that made me cry was Chopper going up to her after Hiruruk died and asking her to teach him. That part actually got to me. And as well as when Chopper inevitably left and, she had to put on the facade of like, telling him he can't leave and all this shit and trying to keep him there and Chopper's running away. And when she called Chopper her son, bruh, that one got me. That one got me pretty good. So 104 episodes in, it's gotten, for me, 4 really emotional moments. I'm trying to think if there's been another one. I don't think so. A couple of them have come close, like, when Nami saw Luffy, like, beating the fucking, her old cartography room to smithereens. when she saw him doing that, her getting emotional for that kind of came close. That's a nice runner-up. I would say a runner-up is the Hiruduke speech. Like, it felt good, but not quite. But yeah, it's had its emotional moments. I don't know. I'd have to measure it up with Naruto to see the emotionality up until that point. Because I know Naruto made me cry quite a bit, especially the last time I watched it. One sec. The last time I watched it, it took me like, I watched it over the course, and this was all of Naruto and Shippuden. So 720 episodes, and I watched it over the course of like a little less than 3 years. You know, I didn't watch it at like a blinding speed, but I watched almost an episode every day. There were a few days that I took breaks. I didn't watch an episode, but overall, I just basically watched an episode a day until it was done. And it took me a little less than 3 years, and it definitely overall made me cry a bunch. Now, here's one thing that I will say is, at least because it's been a long time since I've watched the original Dragon Ball. I actually started, I know there's a One Piece video, but, with Dragon Ball Daima coming up, and that looking like it wants to inject some old school Dragon Ball magic into my soul. I finally decided after like 2 years of debating when I was going to, I'm rewatching all of the Dragon Ball material. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Super. I'm watching all 4 of them, and that I'm basically just going to do 2 episodes a day until it's done. That one I'm going to do quicker, just because I want to finish that hopefully before the fall time, because I would like to be full refresh before Daima starts. My only thing is I'm rewatching it in English, and though I like English more, it makes me worried for how long it's going to take them to dub Daima. Because when Super came out, I actually was, I watched it when it was released, so I watched it in sub. And, I'm American. I grew up with the English dub, and I love the English dub. And I previously had enjoyed aspects of the Japanese dub, but definitely after watching Super in Japanese, I definitely had a much better appreciation for it. So I can watch Dragon Ball Daima in Japanese, but I would like to not. So, but we'll see when we get there. But I know the original Dragon Ball doesn't really hit you with emotion in the way that either One Piece already has, or that I know Naruto does throughout its entirety. But one thing that I will say, that comparing it with Naruto, that I do know is that by comparison, the music of One Piece, it doesn't hit me the same. There's certain tracks that are like, that are just kind of cool tracks to have, but nothing in the music actually really has hit me that hard. And in fact, the biggest moment, which is Nami's moment, there's no music. That shit is silent, and it is deafening. And I loved it. Like, it didn't need music. That moment did not need music. But, with Naruto, I'm not gonna lie, there's a big part of what drives a lot of that emotion, at least for me, is the music. Music can always influence how I'm going to feel about a certain thing. And music, I'm listening to music all the time. Everybody in my life can tell you that, like, if I'm not, playing my games for my channel here, or, watching a show or whatever, the rest of it is music. I work, there's music playing constantly. I'm driving, music. I'm watching the kids, there's music. There's always music. So music really influences the way that things can affect me. And in that regard, One Piece's music, it's not bad, but it doesn't quite hit me the same. So, all right, now we're going to do the thing that we said we were going to set out to do. I haven't talked about this yet, because there's a little bit, it's in the title. It's not a surprise. But we're going to rank what we think are right now, currently, from what we know of, in 104 episodes, since I know of most other characters and what they can do, I'm still going to try and grade as much as I can. Characters, I'm going to try to do like a ranking but only going off of what I can see and verify from 104 episodes. So let's just let's look here. We're just gonna go. I can't put anything up here. I don't know how to do anything like that. Yeah, we're just gonna list some characters here. Just we got Luffy, we got Zoro, we got Sanji, we got the big ones. I don't know. I'm not gonna grade characters like Usopp and Nami and Chopper maybe, because I know he becomes later on much more just like a straight mascot, but at least early on, maybe I'll add him. But we have Ace, Smoker, should we... I'm trying to think of like the characters from the villains from Alabasta here. I'm wondering how many of them to use because we haven't really seen any of them do anything. I wanted... Now, we don't even get their names float around. It's not like, I don't know, because I want to say we haven't seen Shanks really do anything up until this point. So, can I even put him on a scale? But then there's also all of, like, Crocodile's henchmen that we haven't seen a lot of them do anything yet either. I don't know. There's so much that I don't know. I don't know how I want to even approach that. But we'll go over some of the bad guys. We'll go Arlong. What was the dude from the Baratier? Krieg. Don Krieg. We'll stick with, like, bigger characters. I'm not going to worry too much about, like, the fucking Gin and that one Pearl guy that I don't give a fuck about. I'm not going to worry. Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck them. Captain Kuro. Sure, why not? Mihawk for sure. You know what? We'll add Shanks. Even though we haven't seen him do anything. So Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Ace, Smoker, Arlong, Don Krieg, Captain Kuro, Mihawk, Shanks. That's 10 right there. You know what? We'll add Chopper in there because Chopper so far he's done things. He's done things. It's 11 characters. Who else would I mind using that's not from that one not from that one filler? In the future, I might not even know what's filler and what's not. I don't know if I want to venture into those territories. Who else should we add? Is there anybody else that I feel like is worth adding to that list? I don't think any of Arlong's henchmen I care about that much. That might be where we leave it. We'll just have these 11 characters, which means, if it's top 10, someone's got to go. Okay, so I guess we're just going to have it go. All right, Ace. Well, actually, first off, Mihawk is like standing as like the greatest swordsman in the world. So this dude is about to go on top from what I know. Mihawk is going on top, which also means Shanks. Because the two of them are like seen kind of like rivals. For right now, and I know this isn't even settled modern time on who's actually gonna win in a fight, but because let's be fair. At this point, the only thing I've seen anyone... Well, actually, you don't see Shanks do anything forever. In any way. So is that a standard I can use? Because we know that Mihawk can destroy battleships just with sword swipes, just easily, just blow through fucking people's armadas with his sword slashes alone. So that's pretty fucked. But at the same time, Shanks did make that giant, like, sea monster, like, fuck off by looking at him. So, he's also very clearly not someone to fuck around with. I know he's not somebody to fuck around with, but trying to think of what I know or what I've seen of him, up until this point, we're actually going to put him under Mihawk. Yeah, I said it. Shanks under Mihawk. For now, that's not something that I'm taking real close with me. Now, I'm trying to think from what we've seen, because Luffy is definitely stronger than both Zoro and Sanji. That's not a question. From things that I've seen about the way the three of them interact power-wise, by the end of the series, like, I want Luffy's two, his pirate wings. I was going to say the left and right hand, but then I started, like, doing, like, wings. I would like Luffy's left and right hand man to... I want to see a sign that they're both... And I think this actually might be the case now. I do not think that neither Zoro nor Sanji could 1v1 Luffy. I'm pretty confident of that. Even though, Luffy and Zoro kind of fought. Truthfully, other than that I don't think. Especially the way that Zoro reacts to some of the things that Luffy can do. Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze. Because of the way that Zoro reacts to some of the things that Luffy can do, I don't know if because of that, I don't know if I would ever put him... I don't know if I could put him over Luffy. Definitely not. And Sanji, I can guarantee, isn't stronger than Luffy either. So, but together, I think they could beat Luffy if they 2v1'd him. Which is a power scaling that I feel like I would always want to be the case. I feel like, Luffy is obviously, he's the captain. So, that's to be expected. But I would like Zoro and Sanji to be strong enough where side by side they can compete with Luffy. And right now I think that's definitely the case. Ace is definitely going to be stronger than Luffy. I'm definitely moving him up. I don't want to put him as high as either Shanks or Mihawk because I don't know. There's just something about the way that Mihawk is, like, introduced and carries himself, and he pretty much, like, drops balls on the table, and you can expect him to be, like, final level era, what the fuck does that mean? Like, highest tier class of baddies in there. And Shanks as well. You can tell that the both of them are supposed to be, like, in that echelon. Ace, I don't quite know if he is. I don't quite know. He's clearly strong and he can fucking wipe out ships all at once. Like, it's nuts. And Smoker is definitely stronger than Luffy, but not stronger than Ace. And I know some of those devil fruits are supposed to be, like, weaker, stronger against other ones, but even just without that, the way that they're reacting to each other very clears me, and the way that Ace kind of has a certain notoriety, especially being like a division something of the Whitebeard pirates, you could tell that he's got some. You could tell that he's a problem, and he was very clearly a problem that Smoker couldn't even handle. But Smoker is definitely stronger than Luffy, I think, at this point. I mean, Luffy's basically just having to run from this fucking guy. You know what we are going to just add for fun? We're going to add Crocodile. Where do I think Crocodile is? Do I think Crocodile... Do I think that Crocodile... We haven't seen it. All we've seen him do... I mean, he can rob, like, the moisture from people. I wonder if that has effect on the other two, because they can make their bodies, I can't think of how I want to say it. Because they can make their body turn into, like, one fire and one smoke. I don't know if he could extract moisture from them in the same way. Where would Crocodile go on here? I can't think. I can't think of it. I can't think of where Crocodile should go on here. Because we've only seen him do that, and only that. But he's also supposed to be one of these warlords, which Mihawk is also a warlord. So I'm wondering what the comparability in strength is between that position. Because everything that I've heard about Mihawk makes me think that whatever position he has as a warlord is, like, not as high of a position as somebody of his caliber strength could be. It seems like he just doesn't care. I mean, he, like, rides around on his fucking vampire boat all by himself all the time. So he very clearly isn't looking to, like, chill with people. So, I don't know. He might be, you know... I don't know how dangerous these warlords overall are supposed to be. And I don't know... Could Ace, with all the fire we've seen him generate, how would sand react to fire in that way? With the heating up of it, I don't even think that would do anything. I don't know. It's so fucking weird. I don't know. I don't know if... Well, how about this? I'll put it this way. I'm going to put Crocodile underneath Ace and over Smoker. Because I know the way that Smoker is kind of reacting to Luffy trying to deal with... I think he mentioned that Luffy was trying to deal with Crocodile because he was traveling... He knows that Luffy and Vivi are traveling together. So, I want to say that him fighting Crocodile would be a little harder. But also, I mean, Crocodile does lose to Luffy. Because, I mean, it's an anime and he's the villain of the arc. I know how it's going to happen. Well, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I know that he's going to beat him. But at this point, at where I'm at, I don't think if they fight, I don't think Luffy's going to win. It'll probably be like a multi-round fight that Luffy has to win. Alright, so Arlong is obviously not as strong as Luffy. Honestly, I don't even think Luffy struggled against Arlong, to be totally honest. The question is, well, you know what? I'm actually pretty far removed from that. And Zoro's actually done quite a bit of training. Now, you know what? Arlong ain't as strong as Zoro is now. Maybe at the time they fought, maybe, but now not anymore. No. Definitely not. Is Arlong stronger than Sanji up until this point? Is Arlong stronger than Sanji? That's a real tough one. That is a pretty tough tough one because, again, I'm like 60 episodes out. We've had a couple arcs in between. So I'm trying to think, where Sanji might have grown because I remember like Arlong grabbing Zoro and ripping the bandage off of his chest and him being like, "Oh shit, look how fucked up and injured you are. You'd be a problem if you weren't injured." But I don't think at that point though that even if he wasn't injured, I don't think Zoro would have beaten him. I just think that he would have definitely been a much more of a problem than just, swatting away ish one of Arlong's lackeys. Man, do I got a pimple on my leg? Damn! Not really, but it's annoying. So I don't think at the time Zoro was as strong as Arlong, but at this point, he might be. The question is Sanji? And I don't think we've seen enough. I don't think we've seen enough yet to say whether or not. I'm going to put Arlong over Sanji under Zoro. That one might be subject to change very quickly, but right now, I don't know if I've seen enough from Sanji that makes me want to think he could beat him. Like I said, Luffy didn't even struggle. Luffy looked like he was more being distracted by things going around him than Arlong himself. Don Krieg and Captain Kuro. Sanji's beating both of them. I don't care. Don Krieg, he can catch it right now. Sanji, I think, would beat him. Captain Kuro is definitely under Captain Krieg. Fuck Captain Kuro, he sucks. Chopper, you know what? Let's put Chopper somewhere. Because he can become like a fucking hulking monster, you know what? Could he beat Don Krieg? Could Chopper beat Don Krieg? Could Chopper beat Don Krieg? I do not fully know. I actually want to say probably not. I would say Chopper would beat Captain Kuro. Maybe that's just like me personally. Now this becomes a top 12, but I won't dare sully my boy's name and think that he can't beat fucking Black Cat, Kitty Cat Pirate. Nah. Chopper wins that fight. I don't care. But the rest of it, so from top to bottom right now, what about Gold Roger? Should we even speculate about him? Because I don't really know much about him or his strengths or his feats or if he's even got any. I don't know how much of a role. We're just going to leave him as like the mythical legend figure. Because everything that we've heard about him, it really wouldn't matter whether he was strong or not. So I guess it doesn't matter. But so far, the way it's kind of looking for my top 10 right now, from top to bottom, is in 1, we got Mihawk. In 2, we got Shanks. 3, Ace. 4, Crocodile. 5, Smoker. 6 is Luffy. 7 is Zoro. 8 is Arlong. 9 is Sanji. And last place is Don Krieg for the top 10. There could even be a whole other character in there that I don't even know about that should be on, or well, that I would know about, but I'm just forgetting. Because I can think of any more really, truly important characters. I don't want to deal with, like, judging Mr. 3 or any of these other characters. Like, I just don't care about them that much to even put them on a list like this. Unless one of them brings out, like, one of those characters brings out something that makes me, like, all of a sudden, like, oh, shit. Which at least one of them might. At least, like, one of those Baroque Works guys might by episode 208 one of them might actually find, a spot on here somewhere. Who knows? We'll have to see what the next 100 episodes brings us after this. But at least up until now, that seems like it. Which means, so far, our MC, he ain't even in the top 5 of the characters that we know. He's already got a good layer of people that are all stronger than him. Now, this is a shonen, so there being a lot of stronger people than the main character is really not that surprising. But we also know how much more there is out in this world that I haven't even gotten to yet. So, who's even to say how nuts it gets and where Luffy is? I mean, Luffy has to probably not even be fucking top 100 characters at this point in the show. So, yeah, what else did I want to go over? Who is my favorite character right now? Who's my favorite? That is a good question. I can't place who I would have on top right now as my favorite character right now. Because I don't know if I want to go. Because if I want to go by like which character right now has made me the most emotional, that's clearly Nami. So like a part of me wants to say that Nami's my favorite character because she's the one that's had like the greatest emotional impact on me. And I think I would be in my right to choose that in 104 episodes pretty easily. But I mean, we got Zoro and Luffy having their own badassness to them that I really enjoy. And, but then you got Sanji, who's actually got like a pretty good backstory, especially with like having the father figure in Zeph, that, him having another emotional moment on top of him being like pretty strong on the crew. Between the main 3 characters, like the big 3, Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, they're pretty equal in my eyes as far as how much I like them. Because, you've got Luffy who, he seems very easy for people to connect with. And, I've heard this said before. I mean, I've heard it everywhere, that Luffy has great emotional intelligence. And he does. He does for the most. That's the one part of intelligence that he really does seem to excel at, is that he knows what people want and he knows what people need. And he also always gives people the space to choose that for him. Because, I mean, like, the whole thing with Nami. He could tell that, very clearly Nami has been, like, tied to Arlong, like, ball and chained. So he didn't want to kind of swoop in when she's been doing all this years of work herself and grinding and kind of try to feel like he's stepping over her and, taking care of business. He waited until Nami came and asked him for help. And, she needed to do it because Nami had been doing everything by herself for so long that she's the one who needed to break that boundary and actually invite somebody else in to help her. So him having the wherewithal to like give her that space to do that is really good. And then you have Zoro, who, his whole backstory is just the chick who fell down the stairs. But I mean, as goofy as that is, like, that kind of shows that, I've had a lot of people, talk to me about it, and they say that, oh, well, it's just that, death is random and can come at you, come for you at any moment. And yeah, that's true. And I mean, I guess that's why, Zoro swears his name to the fucking heavens, is that, his friend just, and that was it. And, because she died in such like a lame way, I don't want to say that, But because she died in such a way, he has now said, like, basically, I'm going to live and die glorious enough for the both of us. Which is pretty cool, and also explains why he approaches things the way that he does. So, that does make him pretty badass, but I wish, we got a little more, like, motion out of it. But, it does make him, it makes him a really cool character. It's hard not to find Zoro cool, especially, like, at this point. Maybe he does something throughout the series that makes him less cool, but he just is pretty fucking awesome right now. Again, also him getting hit by Luffy's, slapstick maneuvers also means that Zoro probably makes me laugh more than anybody else on the crew right now. Usopp. What do I think about Usopp? He's okay. I didn't hate him as much as people said I would. I definitely don't like him that much. He's alright. Like, I get his whole thing of, like, telling his little stories to make other people around him feel better, especially, doing that with his mother, doing that with Kaya. So, I get it, but at this point, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. Though I do like how he does, like, market himself as the everyman, where, he reminds Zoro, even like, I'm not like you. I'm not a fucking monster out here. I'm just like, I'm a dude. So, Usopp's okay. I'm sure I'll warm up to him more in time. Or at least, if I don't warm up to him in time, hopefully his character will do things more that make me think he's, like, a fun character. Or at least a character worth taking a little more seriously. Damn, I gotta get going. Damn, this has already been for 46 minutes. Holy shit, my son's gonna be off the bus soon. Damn. That's why my throat hurts so much. I've been talking so much. But, yeah, what else is there? Sanji's always, like I was saying, he's got a little bit of a backstory that makes him a little more interesting. But he just seems to make, like, a lot of, like, perv remarks, which they're funny, but at the same time, we only got, like, really, really, truly, truly one good fight scene with him against one of the fishmen. I don't remember if they even had a name who he fought. But I would like to, with the same kind of reason that I put Arlong and Strength over Sanji, I feel like there's just something just a little more I need to see from Sanji just to put him over that next hump. Because it's not like I don't like his character. I just feel like I need a good moment with him. Like, a good moment. And I guess as a character, he almost had that. Maybe if he does it again and it's in a really cool way. But I liked how on Little Garden, while everybody else was, like, doing shit, because him and Zoro had separated doing that hunt or whatever, Sanji was just off doing his own shit the whole time. And because of that, he was even the one who was, he was talking to fucking Crocodile and shit. So, he got to kind of get a full view into the scope of where, the arc was going as we see it, for him, who's after them. Did he learn the name of who's after him? I actually don't remember what information Sanji got out of it. But I do know that he basically, not frame. Well, I guess he did he frame Mr. 3? He basically threw him under the bus, though, hardcore. That's definitely what he did. But, yeah, I feel like Sanji just needs, if he does one more, like, really epic behind-the-scenes sort of thing that, like, has him, getting a bigger picture earlier than everybody else, I'd like to see that, where he's just kind of the suave man in the background doing some fucking secret agent man shit. I like that. I like that as a thing for him. But, yeah, I can't really think of anything more. That is my whole my first year of One Piece, and it's it's been enjoyable. It's been more enjoyable than I thought it would be. Like I said, I know the way I view the series now after 104 episodes isn't exactly the way that the entire series should be viewed, because it's a show that is still going now for 1,000, almost 1,100 episodes now. So this franchise is definitely playing the long game, and I'm definitely going to be here for a while. So, yeah, I'm not really sure if there's much else to say. Um, it's weird to talk about things kind of like this, because there's so many things that I do know about where the series goes and who characters are, but also like trying to make sure I'm strictly viewing things based on what I've seen right now, and not trying to reach for other things that I know might happen later in order to kind of bolster what I think. I want to try to come into this as clean-minded as possible. And you can never do that if you know things. But try as best I can. But yeah, that's it, guys. I will be back with what am I playing today? I think I'm playing my Pokemon Red Nuzlocke. Is that what's up today? I think it's Nuzlocke time. Yeah, I'll be doing that, and then I think that's the only other upload coming today. Tomorrow will be the actual episode of One Piece, the watch along I'm going to do for that. And yeah, it's been a fun year, guys. It's been a fun year. It's weird to think, I was talking about this last time. I mean, when I first started watching One Piece, I was living in my old house. You know, here's we're going to be getting ready to move out of this one in a few months. But, you know, I remember sitting in what was our spare bedroom at the other house, and it had kind of become our, like, I called it the war room, because it just had clothes everywhere, shit that just hadn't been packed or hadn't been put into boxes, or stuff that had to be donated, or everything. And I remember like just sitting on the floor with like my phone set up on like a part of like the on a part of the bed frame where I could like sit at eye level and watch. It was wild. Now I just stand in my bedroom, just, you know, the master bathroom is, and, you know, my bed's over here. But now I can stand right, you know, where I have everything situated and everything's nice. But yeah, it's been a crazy fucking year. And it's only going to get more. And this show, we'll see where we're at in another 104 episodes, because at that point I will probably make another video exactly this way, and we'll go from there. I will be really interested. I want at least one of these years, because I'm only going to do this probably like every year. I don't have time to be recording shit like this for 52 minutes when I still got to play video games and record in a little bit. But I want one of these years to go by, and I want Luffy to not even be in my top 10 as far as strength goes. Right now, he's number 6 on my top 10, the way that I think the characters are being shown and portrayed. But I would like a top 10 where Luffy doesn't show up. I think that would be cool. Where, you know, the MC, like, you start getting to introduce so many more characters that your MC ain't even a fucking fish in the pond. That bitch is plankton at that point. I would like that. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it. It has been a long video. This is almost an hour. So I got to get going. I got to get my son off the bus here in like 10 minutes. So yeah, guys, that'll be it for this one. Take it easy. Peace.